gospel, light of the temple. Sword swing, killer live from the ghetto. The hood messenger, let them know hell's close. Black burial, the devil in a black cloak.
Yo, what is up? Welcome to the Street Gospel Podcast. I'm your host, Dave One. And this is episode number... Yo, Cam, what episode is this? 49. Episode number 49. So I think we have 58 total episodes. That's with our bonus episodes. So if you don't know, the bonus episodes are basically our episodes that are filmed, over Zoom, things like that. Sometimes people can't make it in. Usually it's special people, big time people. So they say, hey, let's do it Zoom. So we'll do a Zoom call here and there. And it turns out pretty good. We haven't had one for a while, but definitely is good. So total 58 episodes, 49. We're approaching 50. So be on the lookout for episode number 50 because I think we're going to do something a little special. So we're going to do 50th episode and our 2-year anniversary. It's been 2 years. So some people might say, you only did, 58 total episodes, 59 total episodes in 2 years. That's not a lot. But there's a lot that we've done. So we'll kind of talk about that on the 50th episode and kind of give you guys a rundown of everything. But definitely happy to be here today. Got a great guest, and I got to put on a little bit of music, like always. This guest, I've probably known him, long, maybe like 35, maybe even longer than that. Years. Everybody's probably thinking months. No, like 35, 38 years, something like crazy like that. Pretty much my whole life. He is a father, a grandfather, a husband. He's been a president of a bike club. He's a pastor, evangelist. He does it all. You know what I mean? He does it all. A little bit of, he was an old construction guy too back in the day, I remember. So, but I want to welcome to the Street Gospel Podcast, Pastor Bobby Amezcua.
Hello, David.
What's up, brother?
That's right here. Happy to be here, man.
Do I have to call you pastor?
No.
Okay, so I got a thing with that, right? So I'm very
So do I.
Okay. So I'm very first of all, you pastor a church.
Yes.
Activate.
Yes.
In the city.
Bellflower.
No, the beautiful city.
Beautiful city of Bellflower.
That's what you always say, right?
I do.
Okay, so Pastor Bobby, I always have a thing. So it's funny because all you guys that come into this podcast, I've known my whole life.
Yes.
Right? So my whole life, I've known you guys. So I just call you guys things. Pastor Mark Amaya never came in here, but I always call him, hey, Mark, because I known him my whole life, right?
Yes.
Abraham comes in here. What's up, Abe? What's going on, Abraham? Cool, man. And then I forget, even with my pastor now, I grew up with him, Pastor Adam Friedrich, and I'm just like, sometimes I'll be like, even at church, which is bad, right? I'll be like, Adam. And he's like, yeah, and it doesn't bother him either.
Right.
But out of respect, I like to say, hey, pastor.
Yeah, my kids do that to me too when they're around people. When they're around people, they do it because it's expected by people.
Right.
So, yeah.
So I like to have a little bit of respect.
Yeah.
But around your people, like I went to your church, Pastor Bobby. And I think I called you Bobby one time. Melissa kind of nudged me. Pastor Bobby. So around your people, I think that's a fair thing.
Good enough.
Yeah. Well, they're not your people.
Nope.
God's people.
That's right.
But out of respect, I think it's good.
Yes, sir.
So what's up, man? You finally made it to the podcast.
Finally, yeah. I'm actually honored to be here, man. I'm very, like I told you, I'm very proud of you. And it's a thrill for me to be here and see what you're doing with your life as a husband, father, and man of God.
Yeah, it's been a long road, man.
It's a fight.
Yeah.
It's a fight.
We've known each other. I mean, I remember you coming into church with your wife, Nancy, and in your little truck,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
And that was my first remembrance of you. How long ago was that?
84.
84.
84.
Okay, so I was only 10 years old.
Yeah.
You're
a little guy.
How many years are we apart here?
I'm 61.
61. So I'm catching up. 48.
You won't catch me.
It's funny though, right? Because I think, especially when you grow up, right? I was there's another pastor friend of mine, and I think sometimes he was not that much older. I think you're older than me. You're in the realm of 60 now. This guy's probably still in his early 50s. And, and he was trying to tell me a few things. And I stopped him and I was like, hey, bro, like, we're like the same age now. Like when you were 24 and I was like 16, 17, it's a big difference.
Yes.
But when we're like 48 and 54,
Not much difference.
There's not that much difference,
No.
right?
Mm-mm. You've experienced enough to know to be at that same level.
Yeah, because I don't think, and I'm not saying like I can't learn from anybody. I always try to think I can learn from anybody,
Yes.
But I think sometimes when you get into that realm of I'm still up here and you're down here, like there has to be some sort of room where you go, like this guy.
Well, I'm a man now. I'm not a kid anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the hard part about growing up in church is, you've known me since you're a kid, since I was a kid, and you kind of think that I'm still 16 years old.
But you're not. Not to me.
No, I mean I was blessed. You had me and Melissa out to your church, and we got to speak on marriage and stuff and
was
share
a great
that.
time.
And it was fun.
Yes.
We had a lot of fun. A lot of good people in that place.
Yeah, people were impacted. They were talking about you guys. We're going to bring you back.
Whenever you want.
Ruben will set that up.
Okay. Yeah, whenever you want, man. Great church.
Thank
Great group of people. Family oriented. I like that. And no pressure.
Nope.
I felt it was like really like chill and just hey, come. We want to love you. We want to help you. We want to be there for you. We want to be your friend.
Yeah, all our services are pretty much the same way. Even Sunday morning, the same vibe. Yeah.
Where did you learn that from?
From myself and God and Jesus. I know so religious, but Jesus, because every time you read about him ministering, he's on the side of a mountain. He's at the seashore. He's on a cross. He's with the guys. He's real chill. Relating to the people. If you're talking to farmers, you're talking about planting seeds. You're talking about construction workers. You're talking about building things. So he related to people where they're at. So I try my best to do that. I don't always do it right, but I try my best.
Right. I think it's a great skill. I mean, I was talking to somebody. I think it was Bedros, where you kind of that's a skill within itself to be able to connect to each and every person in a different way, kind of get on their level. I think that's what's great about you is there's a lot of things about. Like about the streets, we'll get into that. About bikes because you rode your motorcycle all the time. About cars because you had your little mini truck. Sports here and there, some music in there. I mean, and then I think what surprises people, you're a pretty smart dude.
Thank you. I graduated top of the honor roll, gold tassel, gold dash, minor scholarship to go to UCLA. All at the same time, I was gangbanging and doing my thing.
How is that possible though? This is the story I need to get into because I always do. You're a smart guy, and when we talk, and I'm not gonna lie, it surprised me. Maybe because you don't. Well, I shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but I did. Right?
No problem.
But then when I hear you saying, I knew you used to say those things where you're like, hey, I graduated top of my class. And I was like, well, where was the time when you were gangbanging and stuff? Where did that fit in? Or how did you manage all that?
Nighttime, yeah. After school, nighttime. And there was not so much of it the high school years. The 4 years, I kind of took a vacation from the neighborhood. Even though I visited on weekends or nighttime, late night. And so, Dave, let me do this. When I first got saved, I used the Transformer toy as who I was in the devil's hands. And if I needed to be a student, the devil switch it up. If I needed to be a good kid at home, switch it up. Or mean, switch it up. So whatever I needed to be to get over or get by, the devil helped me switch it up. That has not changed. God entered that and turned it around for good. So whatever God needs me to do, Holy Spirit switches me up. So that kind of helps in relating to people where they're at. And
right.
Being humble enough to say, I listen to so many people talk to me that things I already know, but I don't tell them I know. I want them to talk. I want them to communicate because it helps them to have somebody listen. And then if I need to say something like that, then I will. So that whole transformer vibe, I still use that when a church invites me to give a testimony. I'll bring a picture of a transformer or the toy itself, and I'll relate it to how the devil messed me up. God is now using it for good. And I've done so many facets. I'm like a diamond, not that I'm shiny expensive, but the facets of a diamond are so many. And that's my life. It's been like that since youth.
That's crazy. I think that's a plus that a lot of people nowadays don't use, where they can take something negative and use it for the positive. You know, guys that hustled, you know, in their past life to get drugs, you know, and how now in their cleaned up life they hustle in a different way. Like they get that mentality of, you know, I was able to hustle over here and do that for that reason. I know how to do it. I know what it's going to take. I can hustle over here, or I can take this negative over here where I had to adapt to, you know, my environment, whatever it might be, and kind of use it over here, maybe in the business world, to adapt to a customer or a new client or something like that.
Yeah, I think a lot of old drug dealers could be great businessmen if they don't leave behind all of their past. You want to leave, of course, the bad stuff, but there's some skills in doing what you have to do to survive or get by or get over or get what you got to get. If they bring that into their life today, it can even help you in parenting. It can help you in being a leader in a church or a helper, a servant. So yeah, skills are skills.
That's pretty good, man. Yeah. So let's take it back a little bit. I knew you grew up in South Central.
Yeah, the southern part of Central Los Angeles.
Washington, right?
Washington Boulevard and San Pedro Street.
Okay, so that area is notoriously what?
It's very bad. When I was young, I was looking out the window when the Watts riots were happening.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I was 3 to 4 years old, and the National Guard stationed on my dead-end block on Adair Street. And so I remember that, and I remember my dad running the neighborhood. He was always in the street with his guns, with his shotguns, being the sheriff of our street, our block. The whole neighborhood knew the Amezcua house because of my dad. And when people were trying to rob people down the corner at a tire shop, he'd run out there shooting, man, like a cowboy guy. They didn't know too much about PTSD in World War II, but he's a World War II vet. And so he was like really literally crazy, psycho, not right in the head. I don't mean disrespected him, but he was not right. And so I grew up with that kind of dad who was teaching me, Dave, at 6 and 7, what you do, jujitsu, and how to use these weapons. How to use these as weapons. How to use this as a weapon. My knees at 6 years old.
Wow.
Now, of course, I'm not that big or strong, but he was still teaching me and training me. Everywhere I lived, everyone, our neighborhood was mostly black, except my street and 21st Street. So my dad was like, don't go out the block. Don't go out the block. But of course, me, I went out the block. So,
right?
Yeah.
I remember, I think I met your dad once.
Okay.
And I remember you introduced me to him once. I don't know where we were at, but I remember.
You and Wiz came over.
I think we went over, yeah.
In L.A.
Yeah, I remember meeting him once. I think I for sure met your mother once, which was, I didn't never know your mom looked like a white woman.
Yeah.
So I remember being a kid, and then you're like, oh, this, you know, we met your dad another day, and then your mom one day, so this is my mom, and I'm like, that's your mom?
Yeah.
I was like tripping out.
Yeah, she's really pale.
Right? Mm-hmm. So Pops, I mean, I also remember, for some reason I remember your dad, I guess that explains the World War II. He was real American, pro-American.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember you used to talk a lot, which reminded me of my dad, because my dad was in the service and stuff, and he was real from the streets, but real pro-American. So yeah. I think I related to you like that, because you were always talking about America and things like that, but you were from the streets too. Yeah,
well, I think I had to be. I didn't choose or anything, but it's just the neighborhood. It's the neighborhood, and I got kicked out of the kindergarten.
For what?
4 days in.
For what?
I broke a black kid's arm.
Jiu-jitsu. Well, you didn't know jiu-jitsu. You just did it.
Yeah, I didn't know that term at all. But yeah, my head just reacted to how my dad was training me. and I took the kid's arm through the monkey bars and just jumped in the middle of the monkey bars hanging on his arm and snapped it. So, yeah. He pushed one of my friends. So
it's insane to think that a kindergarten would think like that early.
Yeah, it is, but that's how I got trained. And you don't question your dad. I mean, your dad's your dad.
To you, it was just normal.
Yeah, to me it was normal. And so they kicked me out in 4 days. They kicked me out of kindergarten, and I went to St. Vincent's on Adams Boulevard and Figueroa Street by USC.
Another great area.
Yeah. All of LA is the same. So.
Yeah. Nowadays, it's all bad. So you grow up. You said that was just what was around you. It just became normal.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
The violence. I mean, like I said, I was in the middle of not the middle, but part of the Watts riot touched our life. That's how spread out it was from Watts to my area. And my dad had guns everywhere. In fact, that day you came over to my house with Wiz. He yelled at Wiz because Wiz sat down on a chair right by our door when you guys came in, and there was a shotgun about to blow his head off.
Oh, man.
That he leaned against.
Right.
And we know that shotgun. It's a hair trigger. And it's loaded. Every gun in the house is loaded. 12 different guns. And we told Wiz, don't move. And my dad said, get off the chair. I said, don't move fast. Just get up. And I grabbed the gun and gave it to my dad and took it to the next room. But so you grow up in that environment. And then at 9 years old, Dave, my brother came back from Vietnam. That's a big age difference between my brothers and myself. I was a late child. And when he came back, they stuck him in my room. And he started yelling and screaming one day, was freaking out, having an episode.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't know what was going on. So I don't even know the guy. They just tell me it's my brother. Okay, my brother. Like I said, I'm really 9 years old, 4th grade. And he's jumping on the floor. The next day, I slept with a screwdriver under my pillow. I was scared that he was going to jump on me, and I must stick this guy.
Wow.
My brother or not. I mean, that's the mindset I grew up with. Violence was my God. It wasn't drugs. It wasn't alcohol. It wasn't even girls. In fact, when I went to parties, I went to fight, not to pick up chicks. So that carried with me the violence thing even through high school. I was almost kicked out of every grade from 1st to 8th grade at St. Vincent's Grammar School. Well, my dad kept me in there.
He would go slide some money to the nuns over there, or what?
My dad had a lot of money, and those nuns and those priests and most of the teachers, from since my brother went there till I went there, were at my house on weekends partying.
Wow.
So they weren't there to kick me out because then they'll lose the Amezcua money.
That's crazy,
So
man.
yeah, my dad had money from different ways and paid to keep me in school. I didn't know that till later on in life, after I was already an adult, and I found out. But he had connections, Mexico.
Well, that's how Ash graduated private school. There was a lady there, and then we would just buy her like cheeseburgers and stuff, and then we would just take her food and stuff like that.
Nice. Yeah, but
R.I.P. to that Mrs. Brown.
You asked how they got that way. That was just life. It wasn't like something we tried to do or try to avoid. We took it the way it was. My dad was very, very prejudiced, and he named all the bad names about all the different races. So I told him one day, I think maybe 7, then Dad, who do we like? He says, son, we like ourselves. Nobody else. Us against the world. So I said, okay. So one day, my uncle gave me a watch. And only thing I can remember as a kid, remembering that watch. I snuck out of our block, and I wasn't supposed to go. I went to 23rd and Trinity, which is a place called Santo Niño, right there in the neighborhood. A lot of people are going to remember that place. And it was, like I said, it was African-American mostly. And one little black kid told me, can I see a watch? I said, yeah, cool. And I'm, my first time there, trying to, be friendly. And I gave it to him. He bolted. In an instant, everything my dad said at the house about different races, I absorbed. And it took over my whole mentality, took over everything about me. And I hate it from that point on. People. I just hated people.
It's crazy because I think when people talk about hate or are prejudice, right? So it is taught, but I think it's a lot of times I'm not making an excuse for prejudice, but I'm saying it's taught from a place of experience, right? So you get to a place where, I've talked to people and it's like, I just didn't like, this color people or those people or that ethnic group because of my experience. I got beat up by them all the time. So I'm a little weary of that. Or, my dad had a bad experience with these people. And so he taught me that, yeah, you can't trust them. And it's sad because as a kid, you're kind of just like, hey, here's my watch. Go for it, like no problem. And then you have an experience and then it's like, oh, I guess everything dad says was right, and then you end up building this hate, which I think people don't understand that part of hate. Hate comes with a lot of teaching, but it comes also with experience. And I think the teaching with one experience or two experience, it just creates this perfect storm.
Yeah, well, like you said, the teaching part, I heard my dad say it my whole life. Oh, he kept saying it. And it didn't hit home until the experience came in. The reason to agree with him was the whole experience, not just the teaching part, right? And so it kind of consumed my life. And then I started really paying attention to a lot of people around me did the same thing. Heroin addicts were my neighbors. That side, this side, that side. They were everywhere. But they were friends of our family for many years. My dad and mom were there. That house, David, that you went to before the 10 freeway was built.
That's crazy.
So that's how deep our roots, our name, is in that part of the neighborhood. So it wasn't that I was a gang member. I never got caught in a gang. I never joined a gang. They just knew the name Amezcua.
Right.
And what came behind it. My dad did it. My brother did it. My second brother didn't do it. He left the house when he was after 8th grade graduation to be a Catholic priest. Yeah, he left the house, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. He didn't become one. He kind of got kicked out later, but that's his story.
What? So you grew up with violence, hate, in probably the worst part of LA, definitely at that time. And so what's your life like going into junior high school? Do you have any purpose, or you're just seeing your neighborhood?
No, my purpose was at 9 years old, I also had a dream.
Okay.
At 9 years old changed my whole world. So
was this when you had the screwdriver underneath your pillow, or was this later on?
No, I had it there since 7 or 8, but that night that my brother jumped on the floor, I didn't have it.
Okay.
So I made sure I better put it back. So I don't know this guy. He only stayed at our house a couple of weeks. Then my dad kicked him out because he tried to climb in the window one day from staying out late, and he almost got killed. My dad didn't know who he is. He put the shotgun on his head, on his temple, said, "Don't blankety blank move." And he's like, "Dad, it's me." So he almost killed his own son because he forgot his key. So that's how fast we react to violence.
And I can think both guys having some form of PTSD together under one roof is a mix, all bad.
I learned. But you said junior high. Catholic school was from 1st to 8th grade. So
okay.
That's all
Same
one
school.
thing. And then high school is 4 years, 9th to 12th grade. So that's the schooling that I did. The 4th grade, I rolled and smoked my first joint. Today, it's not a big deal for the kids to do it. Back then, only college kids. I'm a 60s kid. That was the hippie days.
Right.
So only the college kids were doing LSD and dope and stuff. Well, in the 4th grade, I'm 9 years old. It's all wrinkled and falling apart. And me and a kid named Artist, who was my best friend at the time, black kid, figure that one out.
Yeah, right.
But he was willing to do dirty stuff like me, and like all the other kids were kids. So Me and him
The
were
bad kids usually gravitate together no matter what.
right. We're in the corner of the schoolyard trying to do this thing, and I got this brother. And it's falling apart. We're still trying to light it. We took a couple of puffs before it fell down, but that was my first experience with marijuana. We thought we were big like college kids because I was the only one doing it at the time. But I did my school grades. I was very smart at school. I did punch nuns. I knocked one out in 6th grade.
Yeah.
And I hit just about every teacher that I had, except for maybe 2. And again, they sent me to the office, and the principal was looking at me in the face, and I just seen her getting drunk at my house the past weekend. What's she going to tell me?
Wow.
What's she going to tell me?
Nothing.
She'll go pick up the papers outside and just go back to class. That was my punishment, going outside, pick up the papers. And then they would talk to my parents. My dad would come with a bundle of cash, and here you go. Sorry about that. Yeah.
What did your dad want you to become? Because he was obviously putting cash. He was putting you in a private school. But what was his motivation to keep paying that? I mean, most parents would forget this.
The whole good father image. My 2 brothers graduated from there. My sister graduated from there.
Okay.
So the whole Amezcua lineage of Amezcua was in that school for X amount of 20-some years. And so I guess pride would be the correct answer that he didn't want to look down upon. They had smart friends. I didn't know that at the time. But they had other people that had jobs and office jobs and stuff that they hung out with on weekends, played card games, canasta and stuff. So I think it was more of a pride thing. My mom worked for the Unified School District right there in L.A. And so, but there was never a conversation, son, I want you to do this or that. My mom did. She goes, be an accountant. You don't have to break your back like your dad. He was a truck driver all his life. So up and down the truck so many years. There's a job on your vertebrae. So she just didn't want me to be a trucker. My brother ended up being one. My other brother, Steve, went to the seminary. And my sister was a bookworm. I had a sister 2 years apart from me. No relationship. She would go home, go to her room and study.
Wow.
I would go home, throw my books there, and go to the neighborhood, to the street, right? And so I don't know her that well.
Wow.
It's like crazy that we have this appearance to the school that we're a together family, but there's no family connection. I never see my mom and dad be affectionate. I see my dad over her drunk, ready to punch her, be threatening toward her to kill her with his bare hands, etc. And this is when I was little. And I would go and run. I'm not big, and I know I can't really do that, but I stood in front of my mom, and I don't even remember saying anything. But he would yell at me, and I just wouldn't move. I was just stubborn as he was. I was not going to move. I can't beat him up, but I'm not going to move. That's my mom. And so then he would just cuss and walk away. And this was several times as a young person. So, again, I'm absorbing this way of life. And the next day, they're back to normal. Normal meaning she comes home from work, irons the clothes, cooks dinner, goes to wash his clothes, and goes to bed. And he comes home, goes next door, down the street, get drunk, play poker. That was normal.
When did you realize that wasn't a normal life? Because I know a lot of people where they just even what you said, the affectionate part, you know what I mean, where it's like, oh, parents kiss, or you know what I mean, like, oh, they hug each other, there's some sort of love there, right. You know, it's people just grow up and it's years before they realize, like, well, that's not the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I don't know, Dave. All I know is this: when they were divorced in the hearts, they were just
separate lives. Yeah,
roommates, or not even that, but yeah. So that, to me, that was normal. I have nothing to compare it to.
Yeah.
There's Ozzy and Harriet on the TV, but that's TV.
That's TV. That doesn't happen.
But that's TV.
That doesn't happen in real life.
But the reality is, this is what it is.
Yeah.
And that's probably why I didn't want to be in the house until late at night when I'd come home, eat dinner, and go to sleep. But other than that, I go home from school and leave. While I'd go to school, as high school, I played sports. So let me blow your mind, because I don't think you knew this about me.
Let me see.
I'm a all CIF cross country runner.
Okay. As long as you didn't say you're all CIF, football or basketball.
I'm an all CIF soccer player
Okay, I can see that.
and track. Because it was cross country training.
Right. So it's all running stuff.
Right.
I mean, strong legs.
Had practice in the hood.
Yeah. Jumping fences and everything.
Running 2 fights.
Yeah, running 2 fights. Okay, not running from.
No.
Okay. I didn't know that about you, man.
Yeah. They have my class in the wall up there in the gym at Salesian High School. Yeah.
So you went to Salesian.
Yeah, I got my name on one championship trophy that's in a library someplace over there.
Nice.
It says Bob Amezcua.
So in high school, did you decide that you wanted to finish and you wanted to make something of yourself?
Yeah, because that was the pattern of our family. My brother graduated. My other brother graduated. My sister
I mean,
graduated.
obviously your
That's
mom had a
what
good
we
job.
do.
Your dad worked. I mean, it was what you guys do. Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't go without, so that was normal that we graduate. We don't quit school. We don't have any dropouts. I didn't know it other than the neighborhood guys. I don't drop. Like for that 4 years, I went on hiatus from the neighborhood. I didn't do a lot in those 4 years. I ended up being a West Side boy in East LA, fighting those guys because they found out from the other side of the LA River. So that's why
Which is a big difference.
It is.
Right.
Yeah, it is. East LA is its own country, man. The
Yeah.
mindset there, it is what it is.
Right.
Not bad or good. It's what it is. And when you come from the West Side, according to them, West Side, it's just you got to tangle a little bit sometimes.
It's different.
Yeah.
It's different. It's especially in those days. I mean, even if you went a few blocks, it was different.
Oh yeah, LA, every other block is its own clique. The barrio is big, but it has different cliques that they don't always get along.
Yeah, that's crazy. So you decided you're gonna do good. Everything's cool.
Yep.
Still messing around. Are you getting high? Are you doing stuff in the neighborhood or no?
I never drank till junior ring day, the day we get our rings.
Yeah.
We went up to Elysian Park, and a brother named John Corona, the big all-star quarterback, the jock of the school, his brother before him, the name Corona meant something at that school. And so he goes, come on, just drink a beer. Just drink a beer with me. I said, I don't drink, bro. I see my dad do it. I saw what happened. So I said, I'm never going to be like him. I never said I want to be like him. I said, I'll never be like him. Only I was like him in the violent part, but the beer to me, I correlated with beating my mom.
Yeah.
And so that's why I ain't going to drink. But he got me to drink a beer. He goes, I'll watch you. I'll take you home. He'd taken me home before, after dances and whatnot. So I always trusted him. So I drank, man. I drank, and I don't know how to stop. I don't know what I was supposed to stop. I just kept going till I couldn't fall no more. And I threw a bottle over the ravine. There's a ravine up there. Not a ravine, a water reservoir. And so I threw the bottle. My ring flew off. Oh. I just got it that day. Oh. My high school ring. I flew off, and this one brother, Carlos Lopez, bless his heart, he's from East LA. We were good buddies. He goes, wait, where'd you put it? Where'd you throw it? I said, bro, forget it, bro. Look at all that. I'm not going to find it. Downhill, brush. He goes, no, we're going to find it. We're going to find it. You're drunk. He goes, just tell me. I told him. He goes, go in slow motion and stop when you felt the ring come off. You got to do this. We're going to get your ring. And he was adamant. I was like, I'm going to punch this guy or I'm going to do it. So I said, okay, I'll do it. I went like this. Like I came off right about here. He goes, don't move. And he goes down the hill, bro.
What?
And he's looking at my finger right here. He finds the ring.
Wow.
Amazing, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And that's the first time I lost that ring. The second time was up in Hanford, up north.
It's gone.
Nope. Somebody else found it there.
Wow.
I was already a born-again Christian. We had did a youth revival up there. And we were all sitting down, and the church I was involved in had a reunion of everybody that was at that youth revival.
Okay.
Youth encounter. And so we were all sitting at a table, and a guy across from me named Steve that ran another group of kids in Bell Gardens. I was running at a St. Aloysius, a youth group, before I went to Praise Chapel. And so I was running that, and we had the reunion, and he's sitting there, he goes, we're all telling stories. He goes, oh, and hey, I found this ring. And I went, let me see that ring. I got it. I go, it's my ring. You know it's not. I go, yeah, look at the inside. Because back then you had your signature.
Okay.
On the inside of the ring, right? Engraved. And I go, that's my ring. Look at it says Amezcua. Look at Robert.
Wow.
Goes, oh my God. That's the second time I found that dumb ring. So,
Do you still have it?
yeah. Yeah. It's in my drawer.
Good stories about your ring, man.
Yeah.
So you take a hiatus.
Yeah.
You're going to school.
Yeah. I'm just fighting here and there, but not claiming my barrio.
Yeah.
Not claiming my hood, my clique. So I'm trying to stay away from that. I'm trying to make an escape from that.
But you're still living in the hood.
But I'm still living in the hood. I'm not going there as much. I'm in sports. So I'm eating right. I'm training right. Before school, before I take the bus to school, until my senior year, I would run to LA Trade Tech, run 2 miles there, run home, take a shower, go to school, do my cross-country training, and then come home and do that same circuit again.
Wow.
And I was about 117, 119 pounds back then.
Back then?
And that's when I was doing cross-country. And the only reason I did it, Dave, because that stubbornness again, my stubbornness has worked for me. Not the right way, but it's worked for me. My coach, Coach Tom Keegan, was famous. Everybody that runs for him, we had Olympic champions come out of our school because of his training. We've always won cross-country championships because of his training. So they're known as the Keegan boys. So my friend was a Keegan boy for all 4 years. And so he told me, run cross-country with me. I said, man, I'm going to run with you Keegan boy. You know, squares, man. You know, honor roll kids and, you know, nice boys. And he was just run with me. It's all right. So I turned my buddy into a drug addict.
Oh, man.
And he took me out to be cross-country, and I cleaned up. And my coach, we went to Griffith Park. He goes, okay, go ahead and run. So I don't know where we're going, but all the guys know. We're on the horse trail at Griffith Park. We're running, and I'm trying to keep up. I'm hurting, Dave. I'm sucking gas, bro. I've never done this kind of running before. So we get to a part where they stop, and they're all done, relaxing, stretching. I'm barely getting there, and I lay down. Boom, I'm on my back. I can't lift up a muscle anymore, and I'm breathing heavily. The coach comes over. Keegan goes, all right, boys, let's go. Get up. Time to train. I'm like, we just...
That was just a warm-up.
We just did 3 miles of warm-up. And he goes, that was just a warm-up. Now we're going to run the hills over at Griffith Park.
Gee.
And Elysian Park that day. And he looked over. I couldn't get up. I was dead, Dave. I could not move a muscle. I was so exhausted just trying to make it. He looked over me, looked me in the eye, said, Amezcua, you're never going to make it. And I couldn't move, and I couldn't hardly breathe. But my mind said, nobody tells me what to do and what I can't do. So that drove me. I quit everything. I started eating all the right food to get healthy, to get strong, to make your blood flow better. And I became a champion in 1 year. I caught up to guys that had been running for 5 years.
What's the most you ever ran?
I ran a 10K.
10K.
10K. Yeah, a city sponsored.
Yeah.
The last time I ran, I was 50.
What'd you run?
10K.
Oh, that was the 10K.
Yeah, the City of Commerce.
6.2 miles? Yeah.
They do a 4th of July run. And so I go, I'm going to train and get ready just to see what I can do, because now I just compete against the 50 to something year old. I'm not competing.
You're that other bracket now. Yeah. Way in that other bracket.
Yeah. I started to train 3 weeks. I was going to train and see what I could do just for fun. 3 days before the race, I'm running down Gage Avenue from Slauson. Went down Gage Avenue because I live right there in Commerce. A Mack truck came out of the warehouse area. Didn't see me. He hit me and knocked me 2 lanes into Gage. I'm lucky I didn't get run over. And I got up because I'm on time. I get up and said, and I just took off.
Bro.
The guy was like that, just like that. I'm about 4 blocks from my house. I get in my house. I open the door. Nancy's in the couch. I got hit by a truck.
Oh.
And I fell over. Because I was so more concerned about me.
Did you get jacked up?
Yeah. So I didn't train anymore for the 4 days before the race. But I went to the race anyway to check out things, see how it is. And I saw the Salesian guys coming
Oh,
to my
nice.
high school with the jersey. I said, oh, I used to be that guy. I'm going to run. And I went to the car, put my shorts on, and I ran. And I came 4 places behind first place guy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even hurting. I had to stop a couple of times. I was hurting, bro. But I did. But that's the kind of mind I've always had. If I'm going to do something, it's going to take a lot to stop me.
Stubborn.
Yeah. And that has helped in my Christianity too. Because a lot of things have tried to stop me.
Right.
But I'm still saved today, 40 years later.
How did you come to God?
I got shot point blank in my chest on 24th and Main Street. A few blocks from the neighborhood.
Yeah, this
all the
story's crazy to me.
And so there's another part I'd like to throw in if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
That dream I told you I had when I was 9 years old was to die suicide by cop when I turned 21.
At 9 years old?
9 years old. That's what I was going to check out because I thought my dad with my mom, and I just didn't like life anymore. But I was going to wait and make them proud that I graduated.
At 9 years old, you didn't like life anymore?
No. I mean, I lived life, but I mean, I just decided I'm going to check out.
At 21?
At 21. That's what I decided.
Wow.
So I had fun in life. I had a lot of fun. But it's not like, oh, woe is me, I want to commit suicide. Not till I'm 21. Because that's part of the dream that I got from, Satan. And so when 2 weeks before I was going to kill 2 families, I had their names, the grandpa, kid, aunt, mom, brother, sister, in this house and the house across the street.
Why?
Just random.
Random?
Yeah. I was also a Charles Manson follower and the Sudanese Liberation Army when they got Patty Hearst hold up. I was in the area. So it was all just like that's where I'm going to go out. Just like that.
So wait a minute. So how does so let me rewind a little bit on this. I get the early years. Hateful home, abuse. That's how PTSD, all that stuff. But you get a little bit of hope during the high school years because sports, physical fitness, all that stuff, it does a lot of stuff for a lot of people. It keeps them out of trouble, keeps them motivated, it gives them some hope.
Yeah.
How do you go from champion runner, soccer player, all that, to a person that wants to be, Bobby Manson?
Transformer.
Wow.
It's real in my life. It's real. Would you believe I was a rapper one time too? So
I don't see that.
The Transformer thing. I was a drummer in a band.
Yeah, I remember that.
I was in dramas. I was.
But that makes sense after the fact. I mean, but to go from, that's extreme.
Yeah,
so
you take that same idea, Dave, and you put it in the world. Now I'm in the hands of the devil. I'll be whatever he asks me to be. So,
but I can see over time. But is there what gets you to that point? Because that's a short period of time where you have some success in high school and you have some motivation to say, okay, I can do this.
Yeah.
You have to have some sort of drive, stubbornness, right?
The challenge, and people telling me that I can't, what drove me. I'll show you I can.
Okay.
So that was the drive for the sport. So the guy in front of me is on my team. I don't like him in front of me. He's in front of me. I'm going to try harder to catch up to him.
I get that.
So my mind is, I'm a machine. I'm not a person. And I see in my crazy head, I see myself as a robot. My hips are just moving. All up here. And the pain, the tiredness, you don't feel it. You just, and okay, the machine's going faster. Turn up a notch. And my mind was crazy. I thought that way. I was thinking that way. And that's what drove me. I'm going to prove that I can do this. But the dream to kill myself at 21, that was a dream. I never thought about it so much in those years. I just knew that when I turned 21, I'm out of here. I don't want to live in this place past 21. Why 21? I have no idea. But it was part of that dream.
But it was just a dream, a lie in that dream, and it just becomes embedded in you?
Yep.
And you think that because the suicide by cop is going to by killing these families that you were just going to go out in a
My name was
blaze
to
of
go
glory?
on. Infamously.
Wow. I think this is important because this is what they talk about when they school shooter or the, you know, this kid in Texas and stuff, where they want to go out in a blaze of glory. They think it's glory, right?
Yeah.
Not really glory,
Right.
but they want their name, right? And there's an argument there where they say, you know, let's stop saying the name because that's what they want. They want their name to be infamously remembered.
Right. A la Manson.
Right.
Say Manson to any American, they're going to know.
Yeah, they might not even know all the details, but they
Right.
know it's just evil and people died. And he actually physically didn't kill anybody,
Nope.
but they people will always tell you, did Benson kill somebody? Oh yeah, he killed all these people in this house. He didn't, but he had the influence.
Right. Correct.
But the name,
Yep.
they don't remember the people that actually did it, but they
That's
remember
right.
his name, right?
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So that was my drive in those times, was a sense of accomplishment. People tell me I can't. I'm going to show you I can. I still wanted my mom to be proud of me some kind of way. Again, that whole 9-year-old thing. My mom told me in my face that I was a mistake when I was 9. I got my dad teaching me to be hateful and evil. So you get that and this, you put that together, and then Satan comes along and tells me this dream. Okay, that's what I'll do. And so my whole life was just to be sure. I didn't even be with a chick sexually till after when I met Nancy,
Wow.
because it wasn't interesting to me. I didn't want to have a baby and then do this.
See, that's
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, that's
you
just-
care enough, but then you don't care.
Yeah,
I messed up. I was messed up.
that was a lot, man. That's because I honestly I thought maybe it was a lot of drugs, or I knew you had a lot of violence in your life, but I didn't know it was embedded in you so young. And then I didn't know the lie that got fed to you in that dream just blossomed into this whole wicked thinking process of I'm going to take people out, I'm going to die like that.
No, I didn't need drugs or anything to get me violent. That was all me, you know, for my dad, and watching, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the dirt. I enjoyed it. I would get home, Dave, and say, lay down my bed, wash up whatever. If I had blood, then I wash up. And lay down and say, okay, I made it today. I won. Go to sleep. Like some kind of weird game. Sometimes when I say these things, I feel like I'm talking about somebody else, but I lived it, so I know what happened. It was me, you know. I've asked demons, Satan, to fill me when I was young. That came from childhood games. Well, about 8 of us from the block were trying to lay down the kid and levitate him. So one of the kids said, well, you have to ask the devil to help you so we can do this. Everybody asked Satan to help him. I believed it. Okay, Satan, give me the power I need. And we picked that kid up. Everybody with 2 fingers, about 3 on each side. And I believed in the power Satan gave at that time. So every time I would go out, okay, devil, let me kill him before he kills me. That was my praying, was let me get them before they get me. And that was from like young. And I've always said that whenever I went out to the neighborhood.
So, physical violence you see, you're messed up mentally, and then spiritually too, because you're opening up the doors to the to spiritual realm that you're allowing that to come into your life too.
Yeah, I didn't understand it completely at that time, but yeah, absolutely.
It's funny because it's a real thing.
It is.
And people ask me about that all the time. They're like, "Oh, you know, we went here and we thought these demons were going to jump on us," and I was like, "No, they can't just jump on you." Like, what do you mean? It works the same way. You don't receive Jesus into your life, he's not just going to jump on you. You know, you got to allow him to jump on you. Same thing with the demons. Like you have to open up that door to say,
Absolutely.
"Okay, I'm right here."
Yeah. They don't have that much power just to take over people. You have to open up.
Crazy.
Yeah, you do. But so that was my life, and that back to how I got shot, which is the original question. So that dream was 2 weeks away from happening.
And you're already planning it?
Oh, yeah. I already got the family picked out. I have the date already set. And 2 weeks before I met Jesus, or Jesus rescued me, I got my fully automatic MAC-10, fully automatic Uzi, a couple extra magazines, and I have them buried in my home's yard. And so in a duffel, in a Salesian High School duffel bag. And they're buried up. And on this date, that's what I'm checking out. The only part I didn't understand was how the cops were going to find out where I lived. So I told my dad I had an arsenal of guns at the house. And again, when I was in grade school, maybe it was 5th, 6th, 7th grade, I used to stay home and tell my mom I felt sick, play hooky. Stay home, right? I don't know if that's still a word today, but I stood home and I practiced. Ditch. And I stood home and I practiced putting the guns at all the windows at the front of my house, which is like only 4, but 2 different rooms. And I practiced loading, because my dad had an ammunition gun. Pow, 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 put the gun down, go to the next one, loading, pow, pow, pow. Run to the next room, get the other one. And I rehearsed this several times in my own house. That I'd unload, put everything back. So my dad knows everything about his gun, so made sure I put everything exactly back. So I practiced this as a kid. Now, this was going to go down. It was not far-fetched for me. It was going to happen. So 2 weeks before that...
hold on. I think this is important. Because I think I'm a big gun guy, right? Second Amendment guy.
Me too.
Let's say that. But I think the part of you practicing and being that young and just being, straight up mentally off. Mm-hmm. Did that play a big? You had access to guns because of your dad. There was, the MAC-10 and the Uzi just doesn't automatically pop up.
That came from the...
Yeah, it comes from the street, right? Yeah. So you get that criminally, I guess, right? Not legit for sure. I'm sure it wasn't. You didn't go to Turner's or to Weatherby's to pick it up, right?
No, so, I won't tell you where I got it, but yeah.
Right. So the real issue is that you were going to find a way to cause some sort of damage, one way or another.
Yes, sir.
Right. There was nothing that was going to stop you, and I think that's huge because. It was a mental problem, and I think in this country, especially right now, we're trying to comprehend why these people do this stuff. And with everything that you're saying, and I'm not trying to justify the Second Amendment. You guys know what I'm about, but the thing is I think we don't address a guy like you that's raised from a little kid with this violence and just mental, physical abuse, a spiritual realm for sure. For some reason, we don't think that could happen. And you're telling this story right now because we can't analyze those guys and we couldn't have analyzed you on this show or talked to you on this show because you would have been dead.
Even then, how would you know to single me out because I was able to hide it so well?
Yeah. So it's hard to just say if you remove the guns, Bobby's not going to do this.
They'll find a way.
Bobby was going to do it whatever way he can. The Manson people didn't use guns.
No. There's knives that were ready available.
Yes.
Other weapons.
I just think, I hate to sidetrack you on that, but I just think that's huge because it was a deeper problem than the gun issue.
Yeah, the gun's not the problem. It's people are the problem. And,
It's just deep because I think with everything we see now, with regular citizens not being able to protect themselves, and then not really addressing. You can address whatever, getting illegal guns, how to address crime, but really addressing, the kids that are hurting, and we don't, like you said, we don't even know.
Nope, you don't know. The hardest spot.
Yeah.
There's all the kids in Oklahoma. They don't look like gang members and stuff. They're walking down the street doing these things at schools and stuff, and not just Oklahoma, but
just it could be any people that do it in Indiana the other day.
Good Catholic school boys.
Yeah, right. Gee. Anyways, that was your plan.
Yeah. So the 2 weeks before it was going to happen was June 12th, 1982, night of the Larry Holmes Jerry Cooney boxing match.
I was watching that, believe it or not.
Yeah, I believe it. You were little, but you were
My
watching.
dad was a boxing fan.
I know.
Jerry Cooney, the Great White Hope.
Yep.
Anyways,
So my homeboy lived 2 houses from Hardcore Plaza, right there south end on 24th and Main. And they were always having car show dances and club dances. So all the gang members for different areas would come and party there. So 2 rival gangs ended up fighting in there, and the fight spilled out into the street. And my homeboy Lalo had one of his brothers in one of the gangs. So he brought him in the yard because we all knew him as a brother. So we pulled him in, and the rest of his gang tried to come in, but not only him, his family. You got to handle your business. So we tried to stay out of it. But the violence got too fun looking, so I ran out in the street, though everybody else started running out in the street. And there was a lot of mayhem that night. A couple ladies lost their babies, lumberjacking. Freddie Espinosa was in one of the cars. I was going to stab him in his head.
Freddie was a friend of ours later on in life.
He's a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
So, and he knows about this too. So I pulled out a knife. I was going to stab him, but my homeboy Crow said, "Loco." And you're lucky they punk, and I ran. So God had his hand on Freddie, because there's no other time I would have held back. I was stuck and then ran, but something stopped me. So I ran out to my homeboy Crow. And I didn't know about that till I was at Freddie's house for Thanksgiving one day. And he goes, "How'd you get saved?" So I told him that what I'm telling you. He goes, I knew you from somewhere. I said, "Oh." I don't recognize nobody. I don't like people remember people. I don't, because I don't care enough to remember your face. I don't care. And so Freddie goes, "You were gonna stab me. You were the one that goes." I said, "You're kidding. You were in the back of that car? And I think it was Impala." He goes, "Yeah, that was me." I said, "Dude, I'm so sorry. You want me to leave?" He goes, "Nah, bro, that's old stuff, man. Let's have Thanksgiving."
Wow.
So, yeah.
I would have made you leave, bro.
I would have left.
You know, go ahead and take a plate, but you got to go.
You got to go. But yeah, so that's what happened that night. But as a result, one of the girls in the car got bumperjacked on the other side and lost her baby.
Okay, so for the people that don't know, bumperjack, old school term, you don't really have that no more.
No.
What is a bumperjack?
It's a long pole, and you put a stand on it, you stand it so the pole's standing up, and then the jack goes down, and you put it under your bumper, and you crank it, and it picks up the car, so you can change the tire.
A savage weapon.
Yeah, very
for
heavy
sure,
metal.
right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. But they
Easy access.
They came in every car.
Yeah,
so,
that's what I was going to say. They came in every car.
Yeah.
So if you got pulled over, it's a jack.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they would take the stands off and the jack off and just use the pole as a weapon. So one of them I always stuck it, hit the people in the car. We don't kill them in the car. We're just violent. And so it turned out that one of the girls lost her baby. I didn't know this till after the fact. But, it's just a night. So that same night, the spirit of violence, my homies were nuts. They were just like, we were the same. And so we fought in 7 different neighborhoods that same night for hours, bro. We even went to a tattoo Charlie's on Whittier Boulevard. Ended up having to leave because of altercations. And so we went everywhere. I'm not going to mention everywhere, but we went everywhere. And made it home about 3-4 hours later.
Did you just have a death wish? Or just didn't care?
No, because I wasn't 21 yet. Well, I was just turned 21.
I know, but to go to like 7 neighborhoods and start and just get into
it was
get
fun.
to it with whoever.
Fun for us. It was fun for us. My neighborhood's crazy. They're deaf people. They're not the whole neighborhood, but
just finding random people to fight with.
Yeah.
Dangerous.
It was normal to us. I can't believe I'm saying this. Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. It was not good. So that was 2 days. So 2 days later, the Jerry Cooney boxing match was happening. We're on Lalo's porch, right? A little homeboy came walking by, and I was the one that was that guy who hit you and then say where you from.
You're cold.
So
Rick.
I know. I hit a lot of my own homeboys. I really did, especially the younger ones because I didn't know the younger ones. But anyway, just to punch somebody was my thing. So he came. He was on the other side of the fence. I was on the porch. Nancy was there with the baby. We had just got married. Said they were just born, and I'm about to leave them. And the death thing.
Who marries Bobby Loco?
Whoever Bobby Loco forces to marry.
Okay.
Yeah. She was forced to marry me. I told her, "You gonna marry me?" She said, "No." I said, "Yeah, you are." I said, "I'll move to Texas. You go to Texas, and I'll kill your whole family." So that was the argument of the night. So the next morning, I called her. Said, "Nancy, what are you doing?" "Nothing at home." I go, "Who's up in your family? Go look at their neck."
Wow.
I was all right, hold on. So she went to go look at her. And he said, "What did you do?" I said, "I was at your house that night for about 4 hours, slicing the throat with a felt tip marker." So you're going to marry me. So she married me.
Yeah.
They had a little like.
Which is crazy because Nancy's family is not. They're pretty street savvy too.
Well, they're all girls, though.
Yeah.
The dad wasn't there. So it's just the girls and the mom. 6, 7 people. The boys were out doing their thing.
Gee.
So, you know.
So you forced her.
I had practiced. Oh, yeah, I forced her. So for many years, she hated me. She was, "I'll marry you, but I'll never love you." That's okay. I was going to check out anyway, Dave.
Man.
So it didn't matter. You know, I don't know why I did that, but I did it. And so the payback came that night, and the boxing match, the homeboy came up the street. And the night before, I had told Nancy, "I'm going to start being cool now. I'm going to chill out." You know, that line, homeboy, you get
You have a kid.
Yeah, we got a baby. I'm not going to fight no more. I'll relax. Because I was going to die anyway in the next couple of days. So I wanted to at least be good to her, I guess, once. I guess.
Jeez.
Nice. So I remember this conversation from the porch, walking down to this homeboy standing in front of the gate to come in the yard. He's just standing there. I'm going to go punch this dude, man, standing right there. But I heard the conversation in my head last night, and she's sitting there with Cynthia, the little baby. So I said, "Okay, I'm not going to hit this dude." First time, Dave, in my life that I wanted to hit somebody, and I didn't. I paid for it. So I'm going to hit him. I go, "What's up, man?" He goes, "Hey, man, you know, want to buy any cool? Like PCP. I go, "Nah, man. I'm trying not to take my eyes off him because I don't know him. You know, my dad trained me watch him all the time, right?"
So it's totally out of character for you right now.
Totally out of character. So I'm like, what do I do? I don't know what to do here. I know what to do before if I hit him. But he kept looking down the street, all fidgety. I'm like, somebody's down the street. Somebody has a gun on me down the street. So my mind racing. What, do I attack this guy? Do I look down the street? Do I see what's going on? Am I tripping? What's going on? So, talking about out of character, I go, "Man, I got to look down the street. And I got to take my eyes off this guy." As soon as I did it, he pulled out a gun and stuck it in my chest and shot me. So, as soon as he shoots me, I found out later that what he was looking at his homeboys with a car. As soon as he shot, they pulled up, he dove into the back seat, and they took off.
So they knew exactly what they were looking for, what they were doing.
Yeah. So, payback.
Payback for
The girl, supposedly, later on I find out, years later, why. Crazy story. But the girl lost her baby, and that's the payback for that.
wow.
They thought that house belonged to the other gang they were fighting with, but it wasn't. But yes, we were the ones that did the damage. So that's what happened after I got shot. It was like, a rebar is in construction, the metal.
Yeah.
It was like somebody ran as far as they could hit me in the chest with it. That's what it felt like. I didn't feel burning. I didn't feel heat.
What round was that?
28? 28? It was the next one above 22. I can't remember anymore.
25?
25.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, it was 25. So he shot me, it took off, and it hit me. Not hit me, but it hit me. I just fell on my back. I turned around, started to crawl because I don't know if he could keep shooting. But I was a Boy Scout also.
Okay.
Yeah, I told you fasted. Remember I told you
Yeah,
that?
I'm
Fasted.
tripping out on this. There's a
I
couple
was
of
a Boy
things.
Scout.
I thought I knew your whole life, but there's a few things I'm like tripping out on.
Nobody knows my whole life until they have hours to talk with me.
True. I think that's
And
with
they ask-
anybody, right?
Not somebody
That's with
I
anybody.
tell. I don't tell everybody, but when
Yeah.
you're. And so I remember pumping my heart. Gotta stay still so my blood won't come out fast. I stopped. I flipped over. By this time, I heard the car already take off. I turned over, and I don't know if I heard it audibly, Dave, or within my spirit, but I said, Jesus, and I blacked out. Like, blacked out in this room. Completely no place, just in a space. I don't know how long I was there, but I heard the voice of God.
Now, have you ever had any experience or anything with God, even with the Catholic school? Anything?
Never.
Nothing. Okay.
Nothing, no. So I turned on my back. I said Jesus. Some kind of way I said Jesus, and I blacked out, and I heard the voice, clear as day, call me by my name. Bobby, don't worry. You're going to live and live for me. Blacked out again. I don't know how long I blacked out. When I woke up, I hear my homegirls jumping in the car, chasing. They ran out of gas. My other homeboy jumped on his Harley, crashed at the corner because he was stinking drunk. Everybody looked at me quiet except Nancy. I could see Nancy. And she's just like this. She hated me. So I didn't know till later, but she's up there looking at me making a deal with God. As a kid, she went to be a Christian. She knew the Lord as a kid. I never knew that. And she said, God, if you let this guy die, I will serve you all the days of my life.
Wait. So most people would pray, if you let him live, I'll serve you.
She was the opposite because, the way it was.
Wow.
Yeah. And so when I came back from hearing that voice, I don't know who it was. I don't know God. I don't know Jesus stuff. Don't know anything about Christianity. And when I woke up, Dave, I could feel it. The rage was gone. The anger was gone. The hatred was gone. Wanting to die was gone. I didn't know who I was. All I know is this. I felt completely different and free and happy.
Wow.
I just like that.
So the worst experience turns into the best experience?
Yes. So, to go back to my dream, at 21, Bobby Loco checked out. B-Lo came in. I did die at 21. I became a brand new person.
Wow. Off of 21st Street. Right?
24th.
Okay.
Couple
But
blocks.
your neighborhood was 21st.
Yeah.
Wow.
But so that's how I got saved. I didn't raise my hand at church. I wasn't going to be in church. No. So, they say somebody plants a seed and the person waters.
Yeah.
When I learned that concept, I thought, Lord, but nobody ever witnessed to me. I don't remember anybody witnessing the way we witness today. Jesus loved you.
Yeah, that's why I asked. Like, did you have any? Was there any experience? Did you know? Sometimes you have some sort of sense.
Right. Nobody talked to me. I figured it out. 2 weeks before I got shot, my homeboy Junior, the one I grew up with, the one I broke the black kid's arm for monkey bars and all that, from kindergarten, him and I are months apart on our birthday. And we've known each other our whole lives, like brothers. His sisters had been born again already. They never witnessed to me and stuff because I was Bobby Joe. To them, I was Bobby Joe. That was my little kid name. So all the parents knew me. They said, Bobby Joe, go home. Bobby Joe, go home. You're nothing but trouble. Go home. They didn't want me around their kids. Even the girls.
Bobby Joe.
Bobby Joe, go home. So, Auntie Rose lived in the alley. That's all the Mercado girls, about 5 of them, I believe. And then Junior, my homie. And so they were born again. Them and the husbands. The husband had been from the neighborhood too, years before me. But they all knew me. So the day I walked into his house, Junior's house, Rose said, Bobby Joe, what are you doing here? I said, I came for Junior. We're going to go for a ride right now. It's 65 Impala. She gave me a track. And I said, Cuvo Cholo on the front, little Cholo, crazy looking drawing. And said, what's this? He goes, just read it. And
I remember that track. I remember that track.
They were famous.
Right.
I think they still have it someplace, but I read it, and I'm still in the living room waiting for Junior. I crumbled it and threw it at her. I said, I'm Satan. When I get to hell, I'm running things. Don't tell me nothing about this. Jeez. And they looked at me, you better not go out. Somebody's going to get shot. No, they said, Junior, don't go out tonight. Somebody's going to get shot. I heard her telling her brother, but it was me. They got shot. Then I teased him, oh, you're the one that took the bullet for, bro. You're just to told you.
Curse me.
So that, I guess reading that track, Dave, is the only thing I can remember reading about Jesus dying for me or a sinner's prayer type thing. So when I have said Jesus, I don't even know why I said Jesus. Only that 2 days before I read that paper.
That's amazing to me, man. Most people have those experiences, and then, you know, they might have heard about Christ as a kid, or from somebody might have told them, and then they get into that. I call it the foxhole experience, right? They're shooting at you, or you're about to die, and then all of a sudden, like,
God help me.
Yeah, God help me. But literally, you're ready to go out, and God reached down and grabbed you.
He interrupted my life and rescued me. That's the way I can say it when I give my testimony. God actually literally rescued me. And in the hospital, fast forward a little bit, if you don't mind. In the hospital, on the second day, there was an old man that came in, David, down a long corridor. A lot of us all hooked up to machines. And there was a hose going into my lung because they got all jacked up into a case full of blood. He walked up, and he's walking slow. He's an old guy. He gave me a small little pocket testament. And he's talking to me, and I'm looking at him like, I'm not mean, because I'm not mean anymore. It was an instant deliverance from that whole... I was just trying to figure out, what do I do now? Who am I? It really was that way. And he told me about the Bible, so I'm open to it now. He told me to read it, read the book of John, and then keep going to Acts. All right, I'm not going nowhere. I'm reading it. I'm not understanding everything. So it's telling me the story of Jesus. John, when I get to Acts chapter 9, changed my life. That's when Saul got knocked off his high horse, flat on his back. It says Jesus, or he acknowledged the Lord, the Bible says.
Right.
That's me! That's me!
The road to Damascus experience. Literally.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how to relate this. I don't know anything about Christianity except by reading this book. And when I thought about it, when that old man gave me the book, Dave, I said, all right, I'll read it. He left. He goes, oh, by the way, son, just read it and do it. The greatest sermon I ever heard.
Read it and do it.
Read it. So that's the only instructions I got as a Christian. Read this and do it. So I looked up. I forgot the question I had, and he was gone. There's no way that old man walking the way he did, coming in, was already gone.
Just like that.
Yeah, I just didn't think about anything, but now I know that angels can't visit.
Maybe it was the spirit of Ananias, man. Ananias
I don't know,
came,
but it freaked me out for years. I'm going to ask God one day, was that an angel? Was that an angel that you sent me? Because he changed my life. So I was stupid enough to read it and do it. I've been trying to do that my whole life. Just read it and do it.
Was the change instant?
Yes, but I didn't know how to act.
You just didn't have no direction. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't. My homeboys came on the third day, and we went out the balcony, a fire escape, to start smoking. Sometimes I don't need it. What? Because I was the first one to do whatever. They come to me and let's go. No questions asked.
Are they trying to get you to say, hey, we know who it was, or let's get some payback?
No,
or
they
anything?
just came to visit me. Cause
okay.
I'm
just asking because I would think that you would be like, oh, we're going to find out who the heck it is.
Yeah, they already found out before I got out of the hospital. A lot of them would say, let's go, man, let's go. I said, nah, let them go. They're going to believe me.
They were probably tripping out.
Oh,
right?
yeah, big time. Yeah, big time, because that was not me. anymore. They didn't recognize me. They didn't recognize my language or nothing. But I read it and I was starting to do it. Trying to tell them about Jesus. No, we're going to get him anyway, man. No, you know, nobody does that to local, man. So, when they did. And after out of it. So they'll just be visiting me. Not smoking joint. I said, I don't need it. They're like, what? I said, I don't need it no more. And I don't know how to explain myself.
Wow.
I haven't even gone to a Christian church yet. I don't even know what a Christian church is. I don't even know the Christian.
Right?
Now the third, this will blow your mind. The third part was, I got up, I got to the part where the apostles were laying hands on the sick. Wow, that's a trip. That'd be trippy. I get up, and I grab that pole, and I'm dragging this box of blood with me down the hall. I'm going slow. I'm not walking fast, and because I can't. I go around the corner. I got out of the hallway, and I go into the room, bro. And the first guy I see is a black guy. You already know how I felt about black guys just a couple of days ago.
Right.
First guy is just a black guy. He goes, what's the matter with you, man? You know, my kind of witnessing. I don't know any better. He goes, oh, man, I was robbing the store and the cop shot me and he pulled a blanket and he has an open wound. Shotgun blast. I go, oh, can I pray for you? We didn't do it. I don't understand all this. He goes, yeah, man. Now I'm touching the black guy with care. It's my first time in my life. I'm doing all this, Dave, in the attitude that I have now, the new life. Greatest prayer in the world. God, make him okay. I didn't go to no professional, heal the bones, the ligaments, the tendons, touch every muscle. I wasn't a professional Christian yet.
Simple.
I still am.
From the heart.
Absolutely. And I meant it, and the rush, Dave, I felt. I mean, I was an LSD freak more than anything. 3 times a day, I was always messed up. It was a better high than I ever had in my life, but in a good feeling type of way. Not in a I'm jacked up way. Just, oh my God, I felt like I was worth something. I felt value in my life.
Wow.
I felt loved, wanted. I felt that I could truly do good, just do the right thing. I could truly make a difference. And it changed me. Like, oh, I want some more of this. I walked down a little bit way. A teenager from Cudahy, they got shot in the back. And from another gang. And they were in an operation. If they didn't cut right, they were going to paralyze him. I said, let me pray for you. But this time, I know what to expect. God, make him okay. And I felt the same rush, but because it was anticipated, it wasn't like, didn't hit me like the first one, but it still felt good. As soon as I prayed, the lady, the nurse, Amezcua, Robert, get back to your room. What are you doing out here? I got scolded. Went back to my room. And been trying to do the Bible ever since, the best that I knew how.
Wow.
Yeah. So even before being a Christian the way we know it today, I was already doing the work of God. I was already preaching, witnessing, laying hands on the sick.
So the period of that violent night to praying for that black guy and that kid from Cudahy, how many days was that? Like a week?
Oh, geez. The third day in the hospital, and the night I got shot. So, less than a week.
Yeah.
Maybe 6 days.
I mean, that's...
5 to 6 days. That's crazy. I never thought about it like that. Nuts.
Yeah. 6 days of transformation from, I'm going to die, let's just go have violence, and who cares what happens, to praying for, people you hated at one time.
Yes.
I mean, there's no other way to explain that.
God.
It's totally God.
Absolutely.
Crazy, man.
Yeah. God rescued me, revolutionized, changed my life, Dave, for sure. I'm saved. Have I made mistakes? Absolutely. Everybody has. Everybody does. We're all growing. We're in process, right? But I've grown from every mistake. I've said all the stories I can to many people that will accept me. And I've forgiven as many people as I have to, hold no grudges, and I'm moving forward. I'm going this way for God, Anybody wants to come aboard? Let's go. If we don't, cool. Do what you got to do for God. I'm still going to go that way. I'm going to see that voice. I'm going to see that man that had that voice that gave me everything I was looking for my whole life. To be loved and to love somebody back. I didn't get that as a kid, not genuinely. At least it wasn't expressed to me genuinely. So when I heard that voice when I was laying on my back,
Right.
that's what I woke up with. Somebody loves me. Somebody cares. And they call me by my name. I'm going to love that guy. I'm going to love that man. I'm going to love that God. No matter what.
I think there's no greater bond than somebody saving your life. You know what I mean? Not just your soul, which we know Jesus died on the cross for our soul, but literally saved your life, transform your life, change your life.
Yeah, not just mine, but a lot of people.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is that like people don't realize like you there is a deep dedication, like men that have been in war, they can, you know, the brotherhood. He saved my life. You're gonna always remember that, dude. But here's God. I mean, he literally touched you, saved your life that night. There was nobody else was looking out for you that day. Not even your baby mama.
No, for sure she wasn't.
She was praying you died.
I always was there. She would have stepped on me.
Oh, well.
But she was going to put a hit on me. She's connected too. But she was going to put a hit. And I told her, what? Truthfully, I would have heard about it at that time. So I did it because I didn't want to have to explain to Cynthia one day that I killed her father.
Her mother.
And that's why
she didn't do it.
Yeah, so she didn't put the hit. So I just found myself having to explain to my daughter one day that I killed her father, and I can't do that. So that's what stopped her. I think it was him, but that's what she does.
So, Bobby Loco's life now, what does it consist of, man?
Doing what I can for Jesus. Still being a transformer, but only in the right man's hands. And I'll do whatever it takes. And my life as a Christian has been, again, faceted. So I look at it today, Dave, as seasons.
Sure.
My life has been chapters and seasons of affecting and making a difference. And everything I got involved in, I've made impact. The best that I can. Not everybody liked it, but it's what I did for God. And in my heart, I really did what I did for God, not me. Not for any glory or anything. There's nothing to glory in. Because in myself, I know I'm still a rotten, dirty, filthy sinner. I'm repenting of thoughts every day.
Sure.
Throughout the day. And so I don't sin like steal stuff physically and stuff like that. But my head is always being bombarded with thoughts that aren't right. Once in a while, I'll get a thirst for blood, and I have to rebuke it. I got to pray. I really got to fight it. And yeah, I'm not joking. I really do.
Is it weird for you when somebody disrespects you?
You know, it used to be.
You know what I mean? Because I would think that, you know, hey kid, you really don't know who you're disrespecting. I would have done this to you at one time.
I get it. Yeah, that runs to my head too. A lot of times with Christians, sinners.
Yeah,
Christians. You know, I was a good Christian. When I finally went to a church.
Yeah,
I was a good Christian, bro. It was like I didn't treat anybody with disrespect. I loved everybody. Then God moved me from that church to another church where Nancy got saved. And we were serving God. We were doing the work. We were loving people. Nothing bothered. I wouldn't even step on an ant, bro, because God gave it life. That was my mentality as a Christian. Because remember, I'm learning this Christian life. I don't know about it. I wasn't raised this way. And so everything was cool till I got to Praise Chapel. It's true. When I got to Maywood, the attitudes, the walls, the fakeness, and I understand they were all growing and learning too. It was not their fault. That's not what I'm saying at all.
There was a lot of people from a lot of different backgrounds.
Yeah,
just a mix of people.
Yeah, and so when I started getting treated, that's the first place I got treated bad as a Christian from a Christian, and I wasn't used to that. I didn't get this from the other churches I was at.
Well, do you think it was because people didn't know how to act or they
Correct.
weren't taught. Because you go to another, I mean, I experienced that. I know exactly what you're talking about. You kind of, you go somewhere else and you're like, oh, this is how it's supposed to be, right? And you grew up in that environment a little bit, and you're like, and you don't blame people, but I think sometimes they just don't learn that sometimes, and they just act off of that.
Yeah, or they see other Christians doing it, so they repeat. And that's rampant in Christianity, that people repeat, they even say things that hear other people say, and it's not even legit according to Scripture, but that is what it is. But that brought out of me, that old guy, to a point. Because I am born again. I am saved. That old man should be dead every day, but it's not always dead. So that brought out, I prayer meeting, we having prayer meeting at a basketball court, I'm fighting.
No.
Yes, sir.
I don't remember that.
That's right. And so that wasn't just there. It was different Christians, different places connected to fellowship.
Right.
Like, why the disrespect, man? And I was sticking up for other people that were getting disrespected, especially when the ushers were picking on the teenagers.
Oh.
They hated me because I took the teenager side. The leaders in our church were against me because I was sticking up for the bad boys. I said, you forget where you come from. You're probably worse than they are.
You know what's funny about that, Bob? I was a church kid. My family got saved. And the funny thing about that is, and I'm glad you brought that up, because it's funny in the church, and I think we sometimes we miss the mark on this. You think about how bad you were 13, 14 years old. And then you see kids, and they're just like myself, church brat, doing kid stuff, right? We might, do dumb stuff, sneak out during service, get smart with somebody, mess around, put toilet paper in somebody's house, whatever it may be. The thing is like, you get
toilet paper houses
all the
Do
time.
you ever throw toys on the roof?
No toys. No toys. You know what? A few times we've toilet papered. I remember sticking something in somebody's gas tank. No, not gas tank, gas pipe. Well, my dad would whoop my butt if yeah.
Really?
Oh, he'd be the first one.
I was at your house one day, toilet paper in your house. And
Why?
huh?
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
Because I wanted to.
Okay.
And so when I was doing it, my wife laughing in the car. I turn around and your mom's looking at me going, laughing, busting up. And I go, I'm gonna finish. And I finished doing it, and I waved at your mom and I left.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I think, like, not bad kids, and the church will label sometimes kids like that, bad kids, and I think, really, we're bad? Like, we're not bad kids. Have you met bad people before? Like, you were a bad kid,
Right?
Like, we're nowhere near you, and you're treating us that way. I just think that, yeah, that's my beef. Still affects me to this day. But
I agree.
But I'm like you. I take that, and I see the kid at church that's struggling, or I see the kid at church that he's not a bad kid. He might have a little attitude. He might do some things, but it's like, hey man, come over here, dude. Let's
kid's human.
Let's talk. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I got you. Like, hey man, I feel you. What you're saying, It's cool. And just love and be his friend. I learned that from my dad too. I talk to a lot of their adults now. Back in the day, they were teenagers. They'll always tell you, like, your dad was cool, man. Everybody else was rough on us, but he would talk to us. He would be our friend. He was cool. My friend Donald Ellingson tells me, man, I didn't really like a lot of people at church, man. They were always hard on me because I wasn't all in all the time. But your dad was just my friend, and he was a cool dude. So I took that as, like, okay. And I think sometimes we miss that in the church. Like, we kind of forget where God has brought us, and it really affects, like, the second, third generation sometimes of saved children, right? You're saved, and you still could remember that life, but then your kids are like, I don't know nothing about that life, and then you start getting the third generation, they really don't know nothing about that life. Correct. But we forget in the church sometimes, and I think we have to remember where we came from.
Yeah, I think the ushers, the leaders, whatnot, their heart was going the right way. They don't want the kid to be bad. That's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
But their approach and the way they dealt with it was like, I'm mightier and bigger than you. I'm the authority over you. Do what I say or else. And there is nowhere else. What are you going to do?
Right.
Spank him, give him detention? And when all I try to do is just be a friend and love them, and people will fight with teenagers in the alley. I'd go out there and say, hey, we're fighting. You guys okay? You all right? You know? I was like the dorky one, like, trying to love. And
I remember Veronica one time. We were our friend. She's older than us. She's kids my age. But I remember one time we were just arguing a bunch of the boys and stuff, and then she flat out cussed at us, and we go, "You guys want to fight? Then go ahead and fight." And I was just like, "Oh snap!" But I mean, it's a different route. Let me ask you this, Bob, and this will probably ruffle some feathers, but you know, I talked to a pastor friend of ours, and I'll tell you after who it is, and you know him. And we were talking one day, and we were talking about the church. And there's a lot of kids that grew up in our era, you know, in the church era that didn't really grasp the Lord. And was something done wrong within the church walls where we were so focused on, you know, building the church? We were so focused on maybe ministry. We were focused on a lot of things, but we a lot of times, and I'm not saying you in particular, because I know your girls and they're great girls, but I'm saying where we focus on a lot of other things within the church, and we let that be the busyness of life, and our kids, you know, the kids kept growing, and we kind of forgot about them until it was a major problem. But it's too late almost, you know. They're 17, 18 years old, and you realize, oh snap, I didn't do the things I was supposed to, but I wasn't taught the things that I was just doing what, you know, what I thought was right within the church realm.
right.
Did we miss the mark there? And how have you changed that in your church?
I didn't only change in my church, but when I was still at the mother church, I became the junior high youth pastor, me and Nancy, and we started with just Denise. And so her best friend at the time was Pearl Hanks. So we started with those two kids. So look, I'm going to look weird and get arrested if I go talk to little kids, tell them to come to my church ministry. You guys have to be the witnesses. So we got them little flyers, invitations, and I'm going to with this, and told them, you start inviting them, not only at your house, your church, but in our church. There's kids over there that don't go to class.
Right.
And they got their reasons, but I want you to start inviting them. And when you do, when you see the parents, I want you to say hi, smile, be different. Be a good Christian girl and smile and say hi. They'll see something in you. You'll help your kids out, their kids out. So we grew to a bunch of kids. A lot of kids started coming. We got big. I took them out to a winter camp, telling them about Jesus there. And me and Nancy never held back sharing our life with these kids. Because it's real stuff. It's real hurts and pains that we dealt with. We don't want you to go through this. This is why we're sharing this with you. Your parents aren't the way. Go to the bathroom, pray for them. When they're leaders in church, there was a time, and the reason I'm trying to answer your question, and the answer is connection. Those kids need a connection. When you're trying to be the boss and do as I say, not as I do type person, it never works. They'll never learn. They'll learn the opposite. So what we did was we always had the kids over our house. We always had barbecues, sleepovers, the camps that I took the kids to. We invested our lives into their lives. The whole church was still doing what it's doing. But my focus, what God had me doing, is these kids. That was my church. That was where I put my labor, my love, my help, my concern, the best I could. We even did graffiti on the walls. I don't know if you remember that. Painted our room 5. Outside youngsters, and had the kids. We had breakdancing. I guess they would say, well, you brought the world in. I didn't. I brought the life they live in so they can serve God in their life. That's what I did. So again, leaders started hating me again. So, and it didn't bother me. It didn't bother me what they thought about me. I just wanted to do what God wanted me to do. And reach these kids, so we did. A lot of our kids grew up, and now they were in worship teams. They were musicians. They do the preaching, some of them. So they did things for God that I didn't think the younger generation do as a whole. Are they doing it? You're doing it now. Other people are doing it. They've come around, but they had to suffer a lot. They had to go through stuff needlessly. You know, at least that's my opinion. Maybe God has a purpose for that. I don't know. I'm not there. I'm not with them. So the difference is the other leaders before I took over were doing church. And they're about who's the next church plant. Because our church was big about planting churches, what we do. Every 6 months, we're doing it, right? Summer conference, winter conference. So the leaders were busy about themselves trying to be the next one. This is just my opinion.
No.
True or not.
Yeah.
And so they left off who's the next person. They were just concerned about where I'm going and who I'm going to be like that guy. I'm going to be like this guy. And I'm going to go to our church here and I'm going to go there. And they were more concerned with that. Who's the next person to run Saturday Night Live? Who's the next drama team? And I was involved in the drama team.
A stepping stone.
Right.
Especially for a youth ministry, right? You're always like, oh, I got to do the youth ministry, then I can do this. But you're always looking past the youth ministry.
Right. And I didn't do that. I did it to invest my time into these kids for a long time. Some of those kids are adults now. Well, all of them are. And they still come to my house, Dave.
That's good.
They still text me. They connected with my daughters because that was their group. And so, did we do good? We did the best we could. That's what I'll say. Good or not, it's on the eye of the beholder, I guess. But I did the best that I could with what I had. We never asked the church for anything. We had our own offerings. We had our own funds. I gave my own money to do things with these kids.
But the focus was probably on other things sometimes. We missed the kids. And I think that was great. What you said is that as a leader, you recognized, well, I'm gonna invest in this time. You know, it reminds me. There's a story I always I talk. Jephthah, he was one of the judges.
Yeah.
And people use Jephthah because of the ending part of that story. But I like to use Jephthah in the beginning because, you know, they say he was a son of a mighty warrior, and then the next line is his mom was a harlot.
Yep.
You can't go from one extreme to the other in one single verse, like more than that, right? So, but the thing I like about it is he grows up and he's a bad dude. He gets cast out, but they cast him out to this other land, and he gets to the, but he gets the people he's with, and he becomes a leader there, and they look to him, and he makes the best of where he's at.
Yes.
And I think sometimes we in that story, what I get out of that story is that he could have got all the bad things. You know, he could have said, "Man, I'm married to I was the son of a mighty warrior. They don't want me. The brothers in that family kicked me out. Because my mom's a harlot. He was with my mom. This town kicks me out. Now I'm with a bunch of losers over here in this other town. We're a bunch of, Robin Hoods, misfits out there, right? Bunch of Robin Hoods trying to rob people and everything. But he becomes a leader over there, and then they ask him back to come back to help them, right? Because they know he's a great leader. He's a mighty warrior.
Got stuff together. Yep.
The best part of that story to me is always, I tell people, is you can read the rest of the story and take sermons out of that and everything, and it's great. But I always like the thing that he goes, well, this is my circumstance. This is where I landed. I want to make the best of this, and I'm going to get this group of misfits and everything else, and we're going to do something great here. And then they ask him to come back because they need help, right? And so I think with that said, we always skip to the next thing, or we're always trying to, well, I got to do this to be great there. And the problem with that is it's like a fighter looking to the next fight, right?
Yes.
You never can go past the opponent that's in front of you because he's always going to be the one that's going to knock you out because you're forgetting about this contender and looking at the champ, and this contender ends up jacking you up.
Yeah, pay attention to what's right in front of you.
I think that's great, man.
At a time. So what hit me to really invest in that whole transformer thing, when I became a youth pastor, I gave it everything I could because that's what I am right now. Before that, I had been for 7 years a full-time evangelist. I went to 7 different countries People don't know about that. All on my own dime. I didn't ask nobody for nothing.
Crazy.
Some people did support me because they liked me. But I went to all over the place, bro. I used to carry a Palm Pilot, David. Just I was saved. Somebody gave it to me for my birthday. And I just wanted to make sure that my life counts. That guy told me, read it and do it. I want to make sure I'm doing it. So on that Palm Pilot, I had salvations. Numbered them. After every time I preached, evangelized, even when we did our thing, I would count. I would ask the usher, the pastor, how many got saved? I would tally it. 750,000 people when I stopped doing it. 10 years ago. No, 20 years ago now.
750,000. You're just counting salvations.
Yep. Well, I put down the number that usher's telling me. I stopped 750, bro.
That's crazy.
So, can you make a difference? Yeah, you can. You don't have to announce it. Nobody has to know. I'm just saying that for the point.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Nobody knows what you're doing except him.
I think that's an excellent point, because in this day and age of social media, everything, right? You know, you got to post what you're doing, right? You got to post what you're doing, or you got to be something you're not. I think that was a big problem with me growing up in the church, is that I always felt like I had to be something that I wasn't, right? Like I couldn't be funny joking around, Dave. I couldn't be, dressed this way, Dave. I would have to be serious, carrying the right Bible, acting the right thing.
That's what you saw?
I think it was more, I felt like that was the only way I was going to be something in the
those are the ones that are accepted.
In the realm we were in, right? Yeah. Or I had to be a pastor to be somebody.
Yeah.
And I think what really changed it is I started looking at my dad's life, and especially after he passed, and hearing people and hey man, your dad bought me this Bible. Like what? Like 10 years after he passed, hey, David Arabella's your dad. I said, yeah, he bought me this Bible. Or your dad did this for me, or did that. And I was thinking, well, that was a lot of impact. That he wasn't a pastor, he wasn't this, he wasn't that, but he made small impacts. So I began to try to say, well, I don't need to be those things. And it's okay. It took a long time. I'm not going to say that it didn't take a long time, right, but because you want to fit in, you think you have to be something. But I think I was okay when I finally said, well, I am something. I am making a difference. And maybe it's not seen or heard, or maybe I'm not, preaching here or talking there or speaking there, but I am making an impact. And I think a lot of times we forget that God doesn't miss any of that.
Right.
He knows everything.
And I think that's why I had a hard time fitting in to the fellowship, because they already had their set examples and ways that you got to be. I broke the mold, bro. I was always with a hat at church. They would get mad at me because of that. And Pastor Mike never told me, when I die, I want you to wear your hat to my funeral.
It's crazy.
And I would tell people that today, and they're like, no, believe what you want. Me and him, I was always at that man's house. I had to make no appointments. Let me in. I'd go grab the bananas from the dish in the kitchen, sit down and eat. And he would say, tell me another one of your testimonies, boy. I said, you sure? I said, Donna would come sit down. Pastor Donna would come sit down. And I would be telling him, but this man wanted to hear the real stuff. And I would tell him, I said, sure. Yeah. She would say, Bobby, stop it. Stop it right now. I don't want to hear any of that no more. I don't want to hear that. Donna, let him finish. He was nuts. Me and him had a real good relationship. Real good. I didn't make appointments, and I had a problem. And I didn't do it right. This is not a good thing. I had one pastor, and it was him. All the other leaders, assistants, didn't matter to me, because I answered to one. And when I fought the prayer meetings and all that stuff, I would have out that same day, David, telling them myself, being accountable to my pastor. So by the time they went and told on me, he already knew about it. That day we did a rap attack. I put paint on the wall because, the boards, the paint went through the crack. Oh, you're in trouble. Our leader, the head usher, you're in trouble. And that's not no way to greet me at church, bro. What's up? No, look what you did. And I go, that?
Okay.
There's paint to cover that.
Speaking on this stuff, I don't think Cam knows this. Cam, you know me and Bob used to rap together back in the day? Kind of, roughly. So, let's tell this story.
Okay, all right.
We're going to tell this story. All right? So, I wanted to be a rapper, right? Me and Bobby go on an outreach. San Francisco?
We've been a lot of places.
I think initially it started somewhere up north. And I like to beatbox. So we had a bullhorn. I'm beatboxing, he's rapping. I didn't really know him back then. I knew him. Hey, Bobby, like real quick in passing, but I'm just a kid. 13, maybe. And he's like, hey, I'll rap and you beatbox. I said, yeah, let's do it. So he's rapping. I don't know what he's saying, man. He's just rapping. I'm just beatboxing. And then we're like, hey, let's do some rapping together. So we end up rapping together, which it was an odd mix, but it worked. He was more aggressive, had the street cred. I had a little bit of knowledge of more of hip hop and what's the trend right now. And then we kind of put it together and we rapped.
Yep.
And my dad was a huge supporter. My dad would come and bring Pop would bring instrumentals. He would bring instrumentals to me. I got this instrumental for you. It's on an album, but I know how to transfer it to a tape for you guys. Okay, let's do it. And we'd make a rap song out of it. And so I bring it up too because it was so taboo at that time.
It was.
It was so like, this doesn't belong in the church. And this is okay. Let's clarify this. All this whole mess here. I'm not trying to brag, but I want to tell everybody. This is gonna sound funny. We were first.
We were
before anybody.
We were the first ones.
So all your guys out here, your early guys of T-Bone and
T-Bone was our opening act.
Yes, SS Mob and all these guys, they were coming up to us and telling us back in the day, because we were more street. There were some hip hop guys that were more, Donald.
We wanted to be the NWA of Christian rap.
Yeah, so we were trying to be tough, and that was where we were from, where we were living. That was our environment. I mean, I'm not saying I was all gangster out, and I didn't portray as a gangster, but 501s, crew neck, my Fila Grand Hills, and I was in there, right? That's just what we did. So we started rapping, a lot of flack, and I think I was a little bitter over the flack because then we stopped rapping. Well, Bobby kept rapping, and then I stopped, and then I get into my 540 band, right? And we start saying, but we go through the same thing. What is this?
Yeah,
and we're one of the early bands too. Once again, we're setting this. Yeah, we're setting a new trend, right? So church doesn't accept us, but I do remember we never got invited to anywhere. No church conferences, no. One day Bobby goes, I want your band to come play. I have a picture of it. That's the picture of me on the mic and I'm holding you. That's there. That's there. You were little. Yeah. So Bobby invites us and we kill it. Well, there was still some people at the church that had a hard time with us playing there and we're complaining after, and Bobby's like, I don't care.
I don't.
Let them play. Your group was loving us. And then the older group comes over, the high schoolers come over, and they're loving it, and then it's pretty much a done deal.
Yes, sir.
But I think the trend of the Transformer trend, right? Yeah, where right. I'm going to adapt to this environment. That's in. I can win some people. I can help change some lives. I can encourage some people. Okay, let's do that. Mm-hmm. Let's do that. And I think it's a great skill. It's a great skill. It's not. And you're not using that skill for negative like you did when you were younger.
Not anymore.
Right? But it's a great skill of connection. It's a great skill of how can I relate to this guy? And like you said, Saul, which became Paul, that's what he says.
Right.
Right?
I become all things to all people in order to win them to Christ.
I think that's huge. And you've lived quite a few lives. Biker, evangelist, rapper, father.
Author too.
I forgot. From the mud to the blood?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
On Amazon.com.
Right. Author too. So which is totally, I can see that. You know, it's just you always been smart. I knew that. And let me ask you this. I know we're going. How does a guy that grew up in a home you did become a great father and a great husband? And I asked this question to a lot of men that have come through here, but I think it's important because I think a lot of guys listen to this podcast and either their kids are a little bit older and they kind of gave up, or they've been married and their marriage is trash forever and they think like this is the way it's going to be forever. But here's a guy that, you know, gets grandkids now. His daughter's son-in-laws love him. You know, how do you become, wife loves him. How do you become that guy?
Let me give you like 3 short answers maybe. As a kid, seeing what I saw, I swore I would never be like my dad. Only this dream happened, which was going to make that null and void. The old man, or angel, whoever it was that came to my hospital bed, to read it, do it. I still live on that.
Simple instructions.
I still live on that. I read it. I'm stupid enough to obey. That dumb.
No, stubborn.
Yeah. So read it and do it. The rest is the process of learning to become unoffendable. Remember that word. Unoffendable. Pastor Phil Hernandez gave me a book when I was at a church called Unoffendable. Orange cover. I read that book like 3 times. And it's probably not for everybody, but it was for me at that moment because of stuff that I still had in my head with people. Not that I haven't forgiven them, but every time I see them, I hate being bothered about our history together. That was not good. I don't hold it against them, but it's still there, floating around. And I don't want that. I didn't ask for that. I don't need that. I'm not gonna do anything about it because I've already forgiven. So I read that book and it helped me be free. It's like God unzipped my head and let all those things out and closed me back up. And said, from this point on, you got to live unoffendable. And my church will tell you, when Pastor Chad was at our church, before I sent him to Albuquerque, started church there, I was a certain type of pastor. I resorted to some old ways of, well, you got to live right to do this in my church. You're not living right, you can't do that. Your marriage ain't right, you can't do that. So when I read that book, it changed me. I let all that go. I went back to just reading and do it. You're not anybody. If anything good happens because of God, you're not doing anything to these people, which we got our name activate from. I'll tell you that in a second. So when Chad came back from Albuquerque, he was asking my parent, my wife, who is this guy? What happened to him? He's so loving. It's like nothing bothers him anymore. Somebody did something, and the old pastor, would have told him something. And I thought, okay, well, praise God. He was like, who is this guy?
Right.
A totally transformation. And this is what, 40 years later, 39 years later of serving God. So you can always grow. You can always learn.
That's good.
You can always change, man, to be more like Christ. And that's all it was a change for me to more like Christ. On the cross, he didn't get upset. Was he in pain? Heck yeah. Was he dying? Heck yeah. And he still had the nerve to say, Father, forgive him. That's unoffendable.
That's good.
So I got to be that. I got to be like Jesus, man. The goal is still for you and I and everybody else that's saved to be like Jesus. Not just say it, not just talk about it, but really do it. And everybody has to do it at their own place where they're at in Christ today. You can't be at my place yet. Maybe you're beyond my place. Good for you. Let me get there. Be patient with me as I get there. Let's be unoffendable toward each other, knowing that not everybody has a good day. And just love each other anyway. So all my job is now, Dave, is to activate in your life and everybody else's life that I can touch what God wants you to be, who God wants you to be, what God wants you to do. How can I help you be what God wants you to be?
It's good.
I don't need you to fit in my church. I don't need you to be like me. I'm not looking for a big membership. I'm looking to build big people that will activate what God placed them and created them to be. Why He saved you. The reason you're still here. There's a reason. There's a purpose. There's a destiny that God gave to everybody. You got to find it. Pastors, evangelists here in the church, brothers, sisters, are here to help you get there. Not tell you how to get there. Not form you, shape you how to get there. But listen to you. And how can I help this man? How can I help this woman? Now they ain't perfect, but neither am I. Later with that. We'll grow together. We'll be jacked up together. We're jacked up for Jesus. Right? So my church does that a lot. We're jacked up for Jesus. And so this book revolutionized, changed my life. Pastor Phil for giving it to me. Changed my life completely. And that's where I'm at right now in my life. And trying to help people.
It's good.
Yeah. Activating you, what God wants, man. Not what I want. Not what the church wants. Not what the fellowship wants. What God wants.
Good stuff, man.
Thank you, Dave.
That was almost 2 hours right here.
No way.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Easy.
Easy peasy?
Easy. You watch the show, man.
I do.
So what do we do last year?
You had a rapper, political guy?
No.
Oh, the Furious Five, bro.
Come on, bro. You
Furious
already
Five.
know.
We had the Furious Five. Quick blast answers.
This guy is one of our biggest fans, Cam. He's one of our main supporters right here, bro. I'm telling you.
Oh, you know what? Before we do that,
Yeah.
you say that other people support you. How do they do that? Is it just prayer or
Well, prayer.
the monetary stuff happening?
Some monetary stuff. So they can go to Spotify. They can support us through Spotify. They can make a monthly donation. It can
On
be
Spotify.
Yeah, it
Okay,
can
I
be a
don't
dollar.
do Spotify,
You can do
so I have to figure out
$1.99.
what that is.
It can be $4.99, $9.99, whatever. And then whatever. I mean, we have donations or whatever.
Okay,
things
I'm
like
going to do
that.
my best to fit you into my life
Okay,
because I believe in you.
I appreciate
That's
that.
the only
Man.
reason. I believe in you, your wife, your kids are amazing.
Thanks,
And
man.
I know God's going to do something with you guys. So I'm going to try to activate that a little bit.
Activate.
No
Let's
big
do
old
it.
promises, but
No, we're gonna
do what I
believe for
can.
big promises, bro.
Amen.
Read it
and
and do it.
Sir. All right, Furious 5 minutes.
Furious 5 with Bobby Loco. Well, that's an easy name.
Yeah, dude.
It's an easy nickname, right? Easy. Question number 1. Before all the bad stuff started happening in your life, what did you want to be when you were a little kid?
That's not Charles Manson, bro.
Seriously? When
That's
you
the
were a
only thing I can
kid?
remember as a little kid.
God.
Bro, as a kid, my mom told me I was a mistake, no good for nothing. So,
Charlie Manson it was.
yeah.
What a life,
I'm
man.
sorry, man.
What a life.
What a
I thought
life.
you were going to say, I wanted to be an architect, or I wanted to be a teacher or something like that.
Charlie was happening as a kid. That's what was in the news. What was happening.
All right, man. Question number 2. In the beautiful city of Bellflower,
Yes,
where you
sir.
have your church, where's the best place to go eat?
Wow.
Come on, I know you're a foodie.
I would take you to Franck's if you were there.
Franck's.
Franck, Fronks, Franck's.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a mixture of barbecue, gourmet type hamburgers, gourmet foods. Real happening place, real hip place.
All right.
For the beer drinkers, I guess they have their own brands,
Nice.
their own brewery. Yeah.
Okay. Sweet. I don't frequent Bellflower too often. I do still go to Doughboys though.
Okay. That's not, my wife used to wear 5 pairs of pants when she shopped there as a kid.
And
Out
walk
the
out.
door.
Hey, best place. I tell everybody that if you're in construction, go to Doughboys. Every single boot is there.
Yes, sir.
You could try them all on too.
Yeah.
Knives, car. Anyways,
That's why I used to get out my biker jacket.
they have
My
great
cuts.
stuff at Doughboys.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Question number 3 on the Street Gospel Podcast. If you had one goal for your church, what would it be?
Make a difference in people's lives, one at a time.
One at a time.
One at a time.
One soul at a time.
Yes, sir.
Question number 4 on the Street Gospel Furious 5 with Bobby Loco. If you could change one thing in your life, what would it be?
Oh my God, gee, I would. Jeez, I have no regret, Dave. Everything was a learning process.
No regrets.
Really, everything was a learning process. I used what was bad and turn around for good, all the bad gives me understanding to understand people.
Wow.
Of many different races and situations.
So good.
But, I mean, really, literally, I have no regrets. I regret this. I was offered to make a movie on my book by Paramount Studios with James Olmos Jr.'s people.
Okay.
And I said no. The third meeting, I grabbed my transcript and walked out. The writers wanted to add so much sex stuff in it, and now it's not me anymore. And I walked. I regret not doing it because I could have gave my real testimony off of that.
Right.
And touched probably more people. So that, yeah.
Wow.
Again, it's the opportunity I missed to be a better witness on a larger scale.
Almost. With James almost.
Yeah. James. Bobby almost.
Last question.
Yes, sir.
Number 5. Would you rather be tall or good looking?
I'm already good looking. So
Oh. Hey, that was a trick question. So
I'm already good looking, so a little taller would have been nice.
That's good, man. Good stuff.
Hey, Dave,
bro.
I love you, man. I love you and your family. I can do anything to help. Let me know.
Love you too, man. I appreciate it. Anything you want to shout out?
Just all the Christians, man. Stay strong. Become unoffendable the best you can. Love everybody. Not everybody's always on their best behavior. And put Jesus first.
Appreciate it, man. Great stuff, man. Appreciate you coming out.
Thank you.
That'll conclude this episode of the Street Gospel Podcast, man. Thanks for hanging with us. Great testimony here, Bobby Loke. Make sure you check out the podcast. Send it to somebody. We appreciate it. Subscribe. Wherever you're listening, watching us at, we appreciate it. Thanks a lot. We'll catch you later. Peace.